Welcome to Plantique 101, or as my friends would call it, SuzyQue.
It's SuzyQue.
My name's Suzy, and today I want to pot up some of these. So I think the common name is Wandering Jew, but I'm working with the Tradescantia Zebrina today. It's native from Mexico, South America, and Central America. And as you can see, these plants have a beautiful sheen to them. Very easy to care for, very gorgeous, just need some good light to keep it the purplish colors. I like to leave my plants dry out before I water them, and I think they're quite beautiful. So I have some plants that are fully rooted, some plants that are rooted in leca. I believe, I put this pot here, I'm gonna look at the roots. This one I asked the store because it was on the floor. They said go ahead and take it. So I'm gonna plant this, and first thing I do is take off some of the dead leaves, the bottom leaves, and I took some cuttings in my terrariums out of some of the leggier, because when you have a terrarium with like 30 or 40 plants, I really don't want one out competing the other one for the light. So I kind of keep this one trimmed back, and it gets bushier as I trim it back. So these will root in the soil as well. And those are the only cuttings that I have that aren't already rooted. Well, I'm going to check the leca now. And I thought this is a good opportunity. Hey, Sophie. That was Sophie. So these roots came out absolutely beautiful in the leca. This is also an amazing plant that does well in water. I lost the leca ball. Lost the ball. I'll take off the dead leaf. So this, and I'm going to take off the bottom two leaves because I'm going to lie it in the soil a little bit more than it's used to. Beautiful. So I love to propagate my plants. I'm on a budget, so if I can take cuttings here and there, and then once they're all rooted, put them together for a nice bushier plant, that is my plan. Where's my soil? So my soil is a mixture of potting soil, orchid bark, perlite, and that is it. So I'm going to put it in this hanging basket. So I'm going to start with the bottom because I like to keep these plants kind of dry. Well, I say kind of dry because these plants are closer to the window. They need a little more water than normal, but it's still, I let the actual soil dry out between waterings, but these plants actually get watered more because they're closer to the window. They get more light. So you can stick your finger deep down in the soil to test, or you can have one of these little meters. I put this in, let's say this is, and it's absolutely dry soil. So as long as my leaves aren't wilting, we're good. I am going to add these cuttings that have no roots last. Stay tuned to the end and I'll play the bloopers and you'll see why I have to cut out the video every 10 seconds. So this is probably going to be the longest one, so I'll put this one in first because I'm not only going to keep these roots at all these nodes, it will root. So these two are cuttings that I rooted right in the dirt, and because you could see there's lots of roots running around. They're not running anywhere. I'm going to put these in here because my goal is to have a full plant. Some of these older leaves I might pull out later. There's a lot of new growth coming out. Like this. And this, since there's some roots growing out of each nodule, I'll kind of wrap this around the top like this, because that's how it was growing in another pot. This actual cutting, I'll take this old root out. No, I'll keep it on. Was on the floor of a store, and I brought it up to the register and asked if I could have it. She's like, sure, take it. Which was awesome. Came home and put it in a pot. I wrapped it around, I wrapped it around, what is that? Oh, I wrapped it around a Dieffenbachia that I had because it was a large container just to keep it going. Because I was about to water the Dieffenbachia, so this goes here. And now I'm going to add these cuttings. Well, they're cuttings with no roots. And the first thing I want to do is make sure I take off the bottom leaf. Because I certainly don't need decaying leaves in here. That's not going to help me with bushier plants. And since this is going to be going through a transition, I'm going to keep it in my propagation station for a little bit. Beautiful. Now if I can get this in here without making too much of a mess. So now I'm just going to add another inch or so of soil. So I got to tell you, I'm new to the plant tube world, and I wanted to introduce myself also. I really do love plants. I'm not new to plants. I've always had a fascination with plants, but I have a lot of aquariums, and I've dabbled in aquaponics because I have tortoises that eat a lot of lettuce. So I wanted to grow my own organic, soilless lettuces and greens, and without having to go to the store every day. And it has worked out so well. So during my aquaponics, and I'm going to put a video together on how I put together my aquaponics. But during my aquaponics, I noticed my houseplants grow amazing in the aquaponics system. So then I started not only, especially now, it's really hard for me to grow lettuce not outside because I don't have any windows that's 100% full sun. So now I'm moving a lot of my plants over to aquaponics. Aquaponics and hydroponics and semi-hydroponics. I'm just loving this journey, sharing the different things I'm learning along the way. I had no idea what LECA was. And I went to my girlfriend's house up in Rochester, New York, which is about a 6-hour drive. So we traded plants and fish and things like that. And she gave me a pretty good lesson on LECA. And if you're interested in that, I did a video. I'll put the video up there so you can see. And I had a small issue with ants, and I was trying to figure out how to have houseplants without soil. So she introduced me to LECA, and it's working well. And she also gave me some good tips on ant reduction. That's working well. And my hanging plants, I don't mind them being in soil. The ants can't get to them. So, shake it down a little bit. I think after I water it, I'm going to push it down. How does that look? I think this is going to be awesome. Now this plant is going to get front and center in front of my propagation station is on the east facing window, and over here with my northern facing window, which should be powerful, bright light window, great, but it's got some obstacles in the way. There's a large tree in my neighbor's house. There's some things in the way, so it's kind of diffused and sporadic, but it's the best window I have for lighting. I'm going to put her front and center in that. And the only western facing window I have, besides my kitchen, which is definitely diffused with my porch, is my bedroom. And I don't think my boyfriend's ready for the rainforest in our bedroom yet. So that seems to be the best. Now I'm going to water this a little bit. My watering can. I'm going to water this a little bit and then hang it up. I hope you check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I think this came out awesome. Now I just have to decide, do I actually want to put it in my propagation station that gets eastern light, at least until some of these cuttings settle, or do I want to just hang it? I think I'm going to put it in my propagation station, and I'll do a tour of my propagation station in a couple weeks so we can see the progress of it. Thanks for coming out while I put together this plant from cuttings and getting to know me just a little bit better. See you next time. My name's Suzy. Nope. Again, they need a little more. They need. I am going to add these cuttings that have no root.
Hey, everybody, it's SuzyQue. Hey, everybody, it's SuzyQue. Nah, nah, hey, everybody, it's SuzyQue. So come along with me. Said I'm SuzyQue.